And welcome to Grindlewood Reserve for this round 18 NPL clash between Balcatta and Armadale. Today's hosts kicking from right to left in their normal blue and red kit, and they're enjoying a strong second season with the Gora and Starch at the helm, and they find themselves in third place on the league table at kickoff. With the likes of Inglewood, Balcatta, Bayswater and Sorrento and Hot Pursuit. A win today would massively bolster their top four ambitions as they look to attack down this left-hand side. And it's a good early ball here for Pellizzari. And it's just cut out and dealt with Armadale. In all honesty, a top four berth looked pretty unlikely at the start of the season, given the fact that they've staved off relegation on the final day for the last 2 years running, actually. So having a good, decent season at Grindlewood Reserve. Armadale, on the other hand, struggling to escape that tight relegation battle, the bottom four, and 4 defeats in their last 5 games. It spells trouble, but they did manage to draw 1-1 in this fixture earlier on in the season, and they'll be hoping to better that result here today. Sean, a massive game at both ends of the table.
Yeah, it's a huge one, and as you mentioned, after back-to-back seasons escaping relegation on the very last day, this has been a dream season. And for Balcatta, they're right up there. There's 4 or 5 clubs fighting for those last sort of 2 or 3 spots in that top 4. So massive game today to really cement their spot in there. And on the other hand, Armadale, even arguably bigger game for them if they want to stay in the NPL. We were at the Sterling's big win against Rockingham last week, which has really just put the cat amongst the pigeons for that bottom 4 now, all just separated by a couple of points. And so massive for them as well. Even a point I don't think they'd be disappointed with here today, but certainly they'd be wanting to get something.
As I mentioned, they did draw 1-1 at Armadale earlier in the season, and the away side on the attack there, Josh Cortez down the left wing, struggling to keep that one in.
Yeah, really, it's been a poor 4 or 5 weeks for Armadale that's really drawn them into this relegation battle. I think they're four losses and a draw in their last 5, including a couple of heavy defeats, a 5-0 to Rockingham and a 3-0, I think it was, to Bayswater. But a couple of, competitive ones as well, though. 1-1 with the Glory Juniors too, so they've definitely got the ability.
Balcatta looking forward. Here's McCarla, early chance, and it's just hit his standing foot there. He did quite well to just keep it in after mishitting the initial effort. And early signs there for Balcatta. Shabe McCarla, such a handful on that left wing.
Yeah, good closing down there from Callum O'Connell. He's the skipper of this side, and with the A-League experience, got a lot of goals last year. I think 16 led the team, and he'll be the player to watch for Balcatta today.
Yeah, certainly versatile. I've seen him dropping at full back, but obviously that attacking threat as well. Here's Lawson on the set piece for Armadale. And just looking to wrap his left foot around this one. Ball towards the back post. Keeper comes, punches. And McCullough tries to keep that one in. Does so successfully.
Yeah, good punch on that set piece there from David Kennan. He's in, Louis, of course, because Luis Italiano has gone back to Newcastle. Big news, back to Newcastle. They've had some injuries. So, yeah, back to the Newcastle Jets. He was a huge signing. They've had a phenomenal defensive record this season. I think, what have we got here? Conceded just the 16 goals. And his inclusion looked like it was going to really bolster that for the rest of the season. So a big loss for them. But David Kennan started on the right foot.
Yeah, massive loss. They're such a difficult side to play against, Balcatta. Second best defensive record in the league, only behind champions Perth. And they just turn the ball over here. And Cortez out on the left wing. Switches play, and Balcatta just so quick to close down there. McCullough also out on that right-hand side. They've just shifted sides, the 2 Balcatta wingers. McCullough back out. Great touch there from McCullough. He's on the ball once again. Great start from him. He's the winger with a step over. Tries his left foot. The ball is blocked. And it was Lawson there who got the vital touch, but the ball will come straight back at Armadale here. Here's Castiello there just battling on that right-hand side. He gets away from one. McCullough will get it, but he's got Garces in hot pursuit. Garces wins the ball back for the away side. And both sides just struggling to get possession early on. A few exchanging of the ball in the opening stages, Sean.
Yeah, slow and cagey. It's a lot of the games we've been to this season have started out, generally tend to explode into life at some point or another, but really McCullough's been the one that's looked the most likely to cause something. He's looked dangerous every time he's been on the ball, but little coming yet from Armadale.
Ball forward, and Giuffre could just let that one run. Balcatta with a long driven ball through, cut out well. Cleared back towards Armadale's attack. Giuffre and Kearney there just sorting that out. No real pressure from Armadale as Balcatta looked to play that one longer. Strong header there, but Balcatta win the second ball. Nazari there. Overlapping run from the fullback. He does decide to use him. It's all good, mate. It's all good. Balcatta back on the attack here. Here's Topini. And O'Connell there, just a bit of a rash touch there. Garces nearly won it back. McCullough, he's looking sharp early. And that's going to be a foul there after Costello was just nudged after the play.
Yeah, I think experienced bit of defending there, just getting your body between ball and player and taking the contact and give him a little chance to breathe. I think the longer this stays 0-0, the happier Armadale will be. Let's see if they can jag one late.
It's Hutchings in goal for the away side. And you see just how narrow and condensed the area of the pitch is where the ball was predicted to land. Hutchings plays the ball a bit more centrally than perhaps Armadale would like, but they win the header. Just a bit of exchanges of possession in the middle of the park, and Nazari there plays back. Lawson, he's Garces. And you've got Cortez out in the left wing, and great turn from the winger. But there's no players to aim at. And Del Borello will just eat up the grass here for Balcatta. And here's Pellizzari. Drives inside well. Does get some contact as well. Lively first touch from the striker. And just a foul there for Balcatta.
Yeah, just squared Joel Anderson up there, and it could have gone either way, and I think he would have drawn the foul. Lovely little bit of footwork. Disappointing there from Armadale when they did go forward to not have anyone in the box. Great work from Cortez.
Yeah, it was a great turn from the left winger. He started brightly, as has the man on the ball, McCullough. And he plays back. Cornes, a bit of a high floated ball. It gives a chance for Armadale to press up the pitch. And they decide to go back in the middle, and Giuffre can switch the ball here for Balcatta. Cornes just trying to settle that ball down on the bouncy surface. Cornes once again a second bite at the cherry, and that one's on the roof. Disappointing effort there from Balcatta. They really should have switched the play earlier, Sean. Yeah,
they're not looking like they're really settled into their stride just yet. As we mentioned, just the cagey nature of this fixture continues. It is a little bit blustery. The wind's not doing them any favours, and a few bubbles on the pitch, so it's hard to settle into that sort of passing and quick switching play, but I'm sure that'll be their intent.
Ball was dealt with by Kearney. O'Connell back to goal. He tried to find Del Borello, but it's just cut out. Into ball forward, and his cursor there, who just Lost the ball and Balcatta come on the counter-attack. Here's O'Connell. Well-weighted pass for Pellizzari. He's in a dangerous area. Just clips the ball to the back, and there's a chance on goal, but does go wide. Decent attack there from Balcatta, but just fell apart at the final moments.
Yeah, lovely pass from Callum O'Connell. We identified him as the man to watch in midfield there, pulling the strings, and he did so there. It's a wonderfully weighted pass, and the first real chance of the game, but harmlessly wide.
Hutchings decides to play short, and Armadale look to switch. They've got a 2v1 out here. Nazari with a delicate touch, and that's a great bit of hold-up play from the winger. And they've got themselves a corner for the effort, but once again, just a well-weighted touch there from the winger.
Yeah, beautiful bit of link-up play from Nazari and Cusa down the right here, right in front of us. I have to say, in terms of our game here, we're situated right between the two benches. It's the first time this has ever happened to us, so excuse us if we keep our voices down a little bit. We don't want to anger anyone.
It's been a good contest so far. Armadale with a chance to work something from the set piece. Keeper just gets enough of a punch there, and Kusa can just play back, and Armadale can reload. Long ball forward. Cortez is interested. I think he might get there as well, but harmlessly goes out for a Balcatta goal kick.
Yeah, another confident punch from Keenan in Balcatta goal. He's started very well in place of Luis Italiano. Not missing him at all at the moment. There was a real tough one sandwiched in between players there as he finds himself on the ball.
That ball just over the head of the captain, O'Connell. Not sure I'm a fan of the luminous yellow kit, but I don't think O'Connell was a fan of the pass there. Armadale back on it at Grindelford Reserve. Disappointing result from them last time out to Floriat. Having to play the Cup winners and Night Series winners. Always a tough ask, and they lost that one 3-0, but they'll be looking to bounce back here. Awesome with a switch there, but it just can't quite find either fullback or winger, and that's disappointing for the away side. Corness there just electing to take on his man, but runs into a second defender and turns the ball over. Quick throw from Balcatta to Pini. He looked for McCullough, but he just couldn't quite find him. A chance for Armadale to break. But he's just... And you can hear John O'Reilly there just extremely disappointed with the lack of urgency on that counter-attack.
Yes, just telling him to move the ball a little bit quicker, but earlier I heard him bemoaning the reactive nature of some of the players as well. We saw the cross earlier to the back post that no one gambled on. We saw just earlier a pass out to either a fullback or a winger, or where one of them should have been, and there was just a chasm. And that's the real frustrating moments as a coach, when the shape and the patterns of play that you've worked on, the players aren't doing it. And yeah, certainly cutting a frustrated figure at the moment on the touchline.
Excellent header there on by the fullback, but they're straight under pressure here. Ball back to Hutchings, and he just takes no chances and puts that one in the middle of the park. Garces battling. Balcatta emerge. Garces with a bit of a swing. He doesn't win the ball, but gets a foul for his trouble. And he's a fiery character, Sam Garces. Not very happy with the referee's call there.
Yeah, I don't know that he can have too many complaints. It's about 5 metres from us, Louis, and certainly didn't win the ball. You heard the smack of the boots and maybe a bit of language towards the ref that I'm not sure whether he heard entirely, but he got the gist, and just a warning on this occasion.
Yeah, the midfielder did start the season quite well. 2 goals in the opening few rounds, but goals have dried up from the midfielder. Left ball towards left ball forward towards the back post. Sorry, I've just minced a few words there, but Hutchings will get things forward. Nazari just can't contest for the header. On the other hand, Cusa has been quite decent in the air for Balcatta, but for Armadale, Pellizzari's just putting him under pressure, and he is interfering with play, obviously. Trying to put pressure on the centre-back.
Yeah, good call from the Lions lady there. Definitely waited until he interfered with play, and when he was pressuring that defender, it raised the flag.
Good to see the Armadale boys having a decent time just in this near touchline. Coach and players having a bit of a joke, but they're on the attack here. And it just fell apart at the final stages there. It was Lawson who was exchanging passes in that final third, and it just breaks down. And both sides really struggling to, I guess, make incisive inroads into that final area of the park. But here's Cortez. He just can't quite get there before Kearney, but he certainly looks like a threat for Armadale on the left wing.
Yeah, certainly as much of a threat as we've seen today. Yeah, hard to dress this one up with too much excitement so far, Louis, but as is often the case, I'm sure there's more to come.
Certainly more to come. Ball towards the back post, Nazari just over his head. Almost faked a volley, but he probably would have been wise to shoot that. O'Connell. Oh, Pellizzari, great work rate. Kusa goes back in, and perhaps it's just a head knock there from the young striker.
Yeah, definitely a clash of heads. It looked like perhaps just getting there before Kusa was Pellizzari, and just a clash of heads, but both players get on with it. That's what we like to see.
Yeah, no nonsense. And Garces out wide. It was a bobbling ball, but it's just a bit short. And here's McCullough, the ball just behind him. We've talked about the rotation of the front three, but Del Barello's not happy with that at all. And Pellizzari found himself at the number 9 spot last week. McCullough capable of operating on either flank, but you've got Tapini, who's just sort of operating as that centre forward false 9 role. Just a confusing equation for the Armadale defenders to deal with. Garces, another throw in for Armadale. Chance to create some inroads here. Mackay's there. Kusa. Nazari just falling apart again at the final hurdle. And Pellizzari, I tell you what, he's looking a lively runner for Balcatta, closing down defensively and certainly working hard in this opening exchange. Kusa with a long throw on the cards here for Armadale, and it makes its way into the box. Here's Pellizzari, brings the ball down, but Kusa gets there first. And Sean, you've just encouraged him there to take up a throw from a further position. They're going to go back, and Del Barello will get on the ball here for Balcatta.
Not really my fault, mate. Just trying to get the ball back as quick as I can. I thought my first touch for the day was pretty good, actually.
Pellizzari with a good first touch himself. Skipping away from a few challenges. Ball across, looking well. Header across goal. And Pellizzari was there, but it was Costello who was there quicker.
Yeah, gorgeous ball there from Corliss, I believe it was, just to the back post, and the header back across, couldn't find anyone, but some holes starting to open up. Maybe something from this corner. I think it'll be John Kearney. He's had a good first half so far.
Yeah, he's looked pretty capable at the back. And he's stepping forward, using his left foot to curl this one in for Balcatta. Keeper gets a punch. I think McCullough will be the first one there, but he leaves it. And Corness takes his time. See Cortez pressing. Long ball forward. Kusa once again with a header. He's had about 4 or 5 in these early stages. Nazari with a run in behind, but perhaps he was just a bit on his heels when the final ball came. 2 number 10s going at it. Armadale have won it high here. Nazari can turn, but he's got a bit of traffic to deal with. Has to play back. Garces. And turns the ball over. Disappointing there, and Balcatta can break. It's 2v2 at the back. Two number 4s going at it, but Armadale will get there first. Some nervy moments there from the Armadale defence, but they play their way out. Kusa can go. And that ball just bouncing on this Grindlefoot reserve surface, and it's just a bit short. Long ball forward for Balcatta. Makala once again swapping wings. Glorious control. Ball in with his left. It's into a dangerous area, but there's just no one quite attacking it for Balcatta.
Well, John Kearney there, mentioned him already a couple of times as having good first half, winning the ball back high up the pitch and getting it into a dangerous area. It's interesting to note on his corner how high Armadale left Cortez and, sorry, the other Nazari on the other side. They've both of them right up on the halfway line, and that allowed them to really get that high press going and put Balcatta under pressure. So it's certainly not their intention to just sit back and soak up the pressure. They want to counter when they get the chance.
Cortez had about 4 players to beat there, and perhaps he was looking for a foul, nothing doing. O'Connell, ball inside Garces. He's got men at his back, and he'll feel aggrieved not to get a foul as well. And I think he's going to talk his way into a conversation with the referee. And he's got a yellow card for it, and it's a constant thing you'll see when you watch Sam Garces play. He loves having a chat. He's a bit of a fiery character, and he's got to walk on a tightrope for the rest of the game.
Wow, it's just so silly and needless at this point in the game. It's not even halfway through the first half, and now he can't really go in hard for a tackle if he needs to. He'd been warned already. It's just some players you just can't coach out of it.
Yeah, well, he did play at Melbourne last year, and I watched him play a few games, and it certainly can be an asset. But sometimes it can really put him in a bit of hot water, and we'll see if he can keep his self on the pitch and not get sent off in this one. But certainly a capable ball player, and he'll just play ahead of that midfield, looking to link the midfield players in the attack. I think he's just won a foul there as well, right on cue.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, once you've been booked, once for dissent, it's easy enough, usually, for most people to not get that second for dissent. But the thing where I feel it really affects is if you just mistime a tackle, if you're so close to being sent off, and so early in the game too.
Macias was the closest for Armadale to get that, but Balcatta got there first. Kusa drives infield. Delicate ball out wide. Armadale can get a cross in. It's a header from Cortez, and it was just headed down into the ground. He just needed a bit more power and oomph on that header, but very decent kick from the Balcatta keeper. Pellizzari brings that one down well. Here the cries from stage to take him on. And excellent defending there. Sanderson assesses his options. There's a long ball fired forward to Macias, and can't quite find him. Nazari there with just a casual touch. Loses that in the middle of the park. Here's Del Barillo. Think the ball forward, and that's a disappointing ball there from the winger.
Yet another confident piece of goalkeeping earlier from David Keenan, and a wonderful long ball as well. He's probably been one of the players of the game so far. Hasn't looked below it at all, replacing Lewis.
Kusa there with a long ball forward. Del Barillo wins the first header. Kusa once again. Macias with a chest. Nazari just shells a long ball forward in the way of Cortez, and he might be out here, the goalkeeper. Cortez, the chip was on, but it was just a lack of technique from the winger. Such a great chance for Armadale there.
Well, I got to take some blame for that, because I just bigged him up and then he's tied himself in knots, as tends to happen. But yeah, it did enough, and yeah, wasn't quite quick enough to get that chip on, was he?
No, he wasn't, but Balcatta moved forward. Pellizzari will get there, and somehow doesn't get the vital touch, and best chance of the game for both sides. Perhaps Sanderson did enough to put him off, but disappointing from Balcatta.
Yeah, great ball again from O'Connell, and outstretched studs couldn't quite turn it in, and good goalkeeping again this time from Sam Hutchings, and You know, those balls can get deflected anywhere, and quite often you see them just going direct into the back of the net when there's bodies flying in front, so good concentration to glove that.
Yeah, glorious chance for the home side. Balcatta can count their lucky stars that it's not 1-0. Macias there trying to hold that one in, can't quite do so. Oh, McCullough on the other hand, glorious first touch. Goes on his left, tries to beat the second, but he just can't quite manufacture a shot as the rain comes tumbling down at Grindelford Reserve. Azari, ball out wide, Kusa. Ball into Garces. Leaves a bit to be desired there from Garces. O'Connell on the right-hand side will try and get under it, but bit of handbags there from the two wide players.
Sitting between two very unhappy coaches' benches at the moment, Louis. I think that reflects more than anything the way this game's going as the rain starts to bucket down. Now, as I think it's mentioned before, I'm from Albany, so I can handle it, Louis. I hope you're going to be okay, mate.
I'm a bit more delicate, mate, but I think both sides just very wary of the importance of this game. There'll be nothing left in the tank at the end of it. But right now, it's just a bit of a cagey contest between Balcatta and Armadale. Balcatta was probably the best chance through Pellizzari, but he couldn't quite get his foot on the end of a glorious ball in. Armadale have had a few set pieces, but they struggled to threaten the Balcatta goal. Cortez perhaps again with another chance, but just fell foul at the final minute. Here's McCullough. That's dealt with from Armadale, but he's looking lively, the winger. Costello there, just dealing with it, but I think they'll have to defend it once again. Armadale, Cortez. It's just scrappy on that right-hand side, and again, we've just mentioned it so many times, these games tend to open up in the second half around that 60-minute mark. And in the first half, you'll just see a lot more cautious play. A bit more who dares wins sort of football, but Balcatta looking to switch play here. It's Kearney. He's got plenty of grass to drive into. It's a dinker ball in behind for Del Borello, but Nazari gets there first. Cusa back to Nazari. Has to play the keeper, and Del Borello playing plenty of pressure. Macias does well to bring it down. Disappointing ball there from Garces, but Cortez will still get there. Costello there with the ball forward into Lawson. And once again, it just breaks down. And you see Cusa just asking for a switch in play. It's so important in these conditions to not get into that habit of just turning the ball over as both sides exchange a spell of possession. Once again, just struggling to get a foothold on the ball, Sean, either side.
Yeah, and that as much as anything's decision making. We heard Cusa saying, all we need is one good touch, we can get out the other side. And there we have a bit of time and a long ball coming in, and rather than taking a touch and trying to shift it, it's just a first time hack up the pitch and turns it over. And yeah, not Danny Richmond's finest moment, but yeah, across the board, players from both teams will be wanting a little bit more composure.
Certainly the managers will, as O'Connell brings that one down. A quick ball for Pellizzari to run out. He's got plenty of pace. Sanderson with a good touch back, but you can see the bobble there just over McCullough. It's Macias, and Garces can't quite get there. Kusa there. Take the throw in. Excellent throw for Garces. Macias with the man at his back. Gets a swing, and you'll see a set piece and another set piece for Armadale to get a ball into the box. And this looks like their probably best way to threaten the goal at the moment, Sean.
Yeah, certainly. They'll be wanting to make the most of their set pieces. Their link-up play and build-up play has been a little bit sloppy so far, but don't want to put the moz on him, but Keenan's been very confident in the air so far. So
he goes down, and is that offside? It is, and Armadale perhaps thought they might have had a penalty there, but it was the captain who went down, and he wasn't in an offside position.
Yeah, I think the referee very relieved to see the flag go up there, and doesn't have to make that decision. Certainly clipped. Could argue it was a bit of incidental contact, but none of it matters because the flag went up and he was offside.
Costello there just jogging back, perhaps looking a bit ginger, the captain, stepping into the shoes of Billy Quincroft to part of the club mid-season for ECU. And John O'Reilly winning a foul for his side there, courtesy of Kusa.
Yeah, and I think Castiello definitely just getting a shoulder into the back there, and fair decision. As you see, Michael Lawson set to take another free kick.
It's going to be a long ball forward for Lawson. Driven with a bit of backspin. Once again, Balcatta are the first to win it, but the second ball falls the way of Armadale and Cortez is offside. He's just sleeping there. Frustration for the away side. And once again, they just can't quite get that final pass sorted.
Yeah, clever little look that time from Richmond, but his forward looked comfortably offside.
O'Connell there, glorious chest control. Pellizzari making a run in behind, and on that wet surface it might run, but he does get it there, and it's across towards McCullough, who leaps. Just can't quite put that one on target, but good sign there from the forward players combining well. Nice chest from Callum O'Connell as well.
Oh, it was glorious. Another decent cross into the box. They've had a few now. Balcatta threatening. Cusa now bemoaning the lack of talk from his defensive compatriots.
Well, Pellizzari, for a central player, does have quite a delivery on him. No doubt he's played out wide in his career, but he's certainly, when he drifts into those channel and leaves holes for the other strikers, he is capable of putting some decent balls in. Just an obvious foul there. His hands were up at an early stage, Castello, and once again another set piece in a similar area for Lawson to put in.
Yeah, just unnecessary. A couple of free kicks now. And then, as you said, that one's just, it's too obvious. Two hands out in the middle of the back. You're going to get it every time, and just need to be a little bit smarter about it.
It's Lawson. A bit more pace on that one. Nazari will get there. Just off the head of him. Balcatta clear. There's Del Borello. Looks to shell that one forward, but there's no central striker as Pellizzari was there trying to hold the ball up earlier. Perhaps Cortez might be offside, but play continues. And he's struggling to let that one bounce, but disappointing defending there from Balcatta. It was never going to be Cortez's ball, but somehow wins a foul.
Yeah, it was never dangerous. It was one that hung up in the air long enough that you could get, shoulder to shoulder rather than jumping over the back of him. It just, again, another silly free kick, and they really put themselves under pressure here because Armadale don't look to be creating too much themselves. But certainly getting a few helping hands.
Yeah, certainly an open play, but set pieces, they've had 3 or 4 in the last couple of minutes. And you've got Lawson and Garces standing over it. You'd fancy a right footer, but I think Garces might just step away from this one to create a bit of a diversion. Ball towards the back post. You saw the captain rise, Costello, but chance forward for Armadale. It's just a disappointing ball not beating the first man. Kusa there trying his best to wrap that one into control, but can't quite do so. Del Borello, ball through for O'Connell. Del Borello once again looking to go forward, but here's Kusa. Ball forward. And Mackay is just battling as Nazari is as well. This match is certainly heating up, and you'll see Kusa just come in hard here, skips away well, a few rash challenges. But that ball goes, and very feisty bit of play there from both sides.
Yeah, it's livening up, Louis. The tackles are flying, the coaches are up on their feet. This is what we want to see in the wet. I feel like this is right on the knife edge here. A goal would certainly set off the fireworks.
They are a bit of a low scoring and such a good defensive team, Balcatta, so you don't expect too many goals in this one from a betting perspective, but Armadale will be hoping to buck that trend and perhaps put a few past. And that ball's gone out. I thought Cortez played it back poorly, but it was already out by the time it got to the winger. Cortez and McCullough battling for it, and it'll be a Armadale throw here. McCullough's just drifted out of the game. He was so lively in the first 10 or 15, but probably a better spell for Armadale in the last 10, Sean.
Yeah, certainly, as tends to happen with the smaller, quicker wingers. They can find themselves in purple patches and then just sort of drop out of it. He'll just need to work a bit harder to get himself back in this game.
Kusa there, putting in the way of Nazari, but he can't quite bring that one down. Here's O'Connell. Tries a tidy flick for Del Borello, but it doesn't quite work, and the captain demanding a bit more options in front of him rather than the overlapping fullback. Del Borello throwing himself at it. Here's Nazari. Garces making a run, but Mackay's will get the ball. Mackay's just dribbling into traffic, and you just see the numbers of Balcatta. They just ushered them out for a throw in there. Steyich disappointing with something, but they've won the ball back and will look to attack. You just see McCullough back on the ball here for Balcatta. He'll drift away from two. Well-weighted pass for O'Connell. O'Connell with the ball across. McCullough. And that's 1-0. Goal for Balcatta.
Absolutely brilliant from McCullough. We just called it. He drifted out of the game. He just needs to find his way back in. And as soon as he got on the ball, you could say, you could feel it. Here we go. He's played a beautiful ball, got himself into a dangerous area, hasn't overcommitted to get on the shoulder. He's peeled off a really good goal scorer's instinct and wonderful finish as well.
Yeah, he had a few chances to control it in the box, but he did so. O'Connell there with a great run down the left-hand side and a good delivery from the captain. As Balcatta take the lead here, and great start for them. Kusa with the ball, and Pellizzari wins it. His hands were up, but can't win a free kick. Bit soft there from both players, but Nazari's interested, as is Del Borello. Castello getting away from two. Pellizzari peels out wide. Pellizzari driving, ball across. McCullough once again. It'll fall to Del Borello, plays the ball at the back post. Just tunnels his man, and illegally, according to the referee, as Gar says, cleverly gets his body in between player and ball.
Oh, starting to tilt the way we thought it would go before the kick-off, Louis, and Balcatta really starting to assert their dominance, and Armadale starting to look a little bit scrappy and heads all over the place, and probably half-time whistle can't come soon enough for them to regroup and come at it again, but at this stage it's hard to see anything other than Balcatta getting another one or two.
That goal just came when Armadale were having a decent run of set pieces and perhaps having the lion's share of possession, so a real sucker punch for the away side. And waiting for support, but there's going to be a ball forward, and O'Connell is interested. Keeper will come out. It goes over the head of the keeper. O'Connell, Pellizzari, it's over the head of him as well. Armadale get unscathed there. Del Borello hungrier to win it than Nazari, but he can't quite get on it, the former Perth FC player.
Well, blushes spared there for Sam Hutchings. It looked a bit dicey for a while.
He got caught out in no man's land against Floriette last week, and the opener was scored by Ludovic Boy they were punished. So thankfully for John O'Reilly, they weren't punished a second week running. Oh, that's just non-negotiable from a fullback. So disappointing.
Well, I was about to mention there was about 3 or 4 passes he's missed in the last sort of 5 or 10 minutes, Cuser, and it's, yeah, certainly not his finest 10 minutes of football.
He's certainly cutting a frustrated figure. The assistant referee just asking for them to quicken play, which is a great insight when we're between the benches near the linesman. Pellizzari tries to bring that one under control, but it will go towards Tapini. Armadale will clear. You've got Mackay, he's so isolated up forward. So it was a long ball forward. Mackay will look to press. Nazari commits, as does Cortez, and the high press there from Armadale means they can get on the attack here in a decent area. Mackay's back to goal, can't bring that under control, but Kearney, who's had a pretty decent first half, clears that one. Lawson there with the ball forward. Mackay has to deal with that. Again, it's just scrappy play in the middle of the park from both sides, and Kearney there throws the ball forward for Balcatta to chase. And sounded almost like a cricket umpire there. But the linesman plays play on, and Balcatta will have a chance to get a set piece of their own. We haven't seen too many of them in the last 20 minutes.
Yeah, great work from the linesman. Just give the waiting, and none of them got involved with play, so just let it go on. It's what we want to see.
Here's Del Borello. Ambitious first touch, but he's nearly brought it down. Mackay is the only player forward for Armadale, and he's going to do very well to get something out of it. Somehow gets the ball. Oh, audacious effort! Oh, my word. What a goal that would have been. He had absolutely nothing on. Sensational effort.
I'll tell you what, just for a moment, it looked like from where we are that was just dipping over the head of Keenan, but over the crossbar as well.
Oh, what a moment that would have been before half-time. Certainly a goal of the season contender, no doubt. And it was dipping. Keenan was just really in no man's land there. As you can imagine, he was not expecting the shot, and he goes down under the wet surface of Grindleford Reserve. O'Connell there, glorious flick. Ball goes out wide. Tapini with a chance to get a ball in. Takes too long. And that's so disappointing from the wide man. And he had numbers arriving, but just took his time. Nazari can't quite bring that one down. He's got 2 players to try and win the ball off, but he's got a throw.
Yeah, he did well enough, Nazari. Pressured him into kicking it out for a throw. Cusa, see if he can keep his feet on the ground for this one.
Just raised there, but luckily he didn't throw it. Gar says good technique to play that one back. And they do well to play out. He'd be wise to let that one run, and he does. He certainly got a lot quieter after his first half booking, Gar says, for Descent, as he flicks it over one well. Keeps it in with his head, not according to the linesman, though. We just go into half-time in this one, and the sides are separated by a Charbon-Makala strike in the midway point of the first half. Garces asked to press, but it's driven ball forward for Balcatta in towards the goal scorer, but Mackay can bring this one under. Plenty of physicality shown by the defence. Here's Nazari. A lot of pace on that cross, but lacked the direction. Better moments for Armadale going into this half-time break, Sean. Let's see if they can muster something up here. Guys back to goal. Cortez just slices a ball in towards a dangerous area. Pellizzari will struggle to keep that one in. Here's Kusa. Questionable throw there. He's had a few, Sean, as the ball comes in.
Not questionable, Louis. Your foot was definitely up again.
Del Barello goes sliding in. Here's Nazari with his left. And it's just a releasing of the pressure valve. And especially going into half-time, you just wanted Armadale to sustain that pressure going into the break, and it's just exactly what Balcatta ordered. David Keenan in net, as we've mentioned, for Italiano, who's been recalled to the Jets, the mid-season signing. Garces goes up well and wins the header for Cortez. Lawson. And that's half-time at Grindleford Reserve. 1-0 courtesy of a Shabhan Makala strike. Armadale with some chances and set pieces towards the end, but it's a tight game at both ends of the table. Sean, what are your thoughts on the first half?
Yeah, it was a game that just really needed a goal. Thankfully, we got one, and it was McCullough so lively early, so dangerous, and also Callum O'Connell as well, linking up, and he's been brilliant the first half. Probably the two best players so far. The keeper's held his head high, and yeah, it's hard to see Armadale getting back into this one, if I'm honest, Louis.
Yeah, well, of course, the defensive record of Balcatta, so strong, the second best defensive record in the league, and they're odds on to secure a clean sheet and a win in this one. But it's halfway through this one at Grindleford Reserve. It's Balcatta 1, Armadale 0. And welcome back to this round 18 NPL clash at Grindlefoot Reserve between Balcatta and Armadale, currently separated by a Shubham McCullough strike in the first half as Balcatta looked to switch, and it's just taken a bubble there, unfortunately. And it was Corness who just misjudged his technique. Garces with the ball back. Jouffre, or Corness should I say, ball forward. An interesting call here from the referee, who's waited a half to tell them to get their undershirts off. I wonder what keeps him up at night if there's 3 players coming off the pitch due to a interesting rule, but we're going to get play resumed here as Adams with a throw here for Armadale. Ball inside to Garces, just under his studs. O'Connell set up that goal in the first half, on the ball here for the home side. Bit of an ambitious ball through there as I'm rejoined by my commentary partner Sean, and a bit of an extended spell at the half-time tuck shot for you, but they've got a chance going forward here, Balcatta, and it just gets cut out by the goalkeeper.
Yeah, a bit of a 50-metre sprint as well to jump over the fence and get back. The Berger just took a little bit longer than expected, Louis, but back and ready.
And Azari looks ready here. He's on the right-hand side. Gets ahead of his man. That's going to be a foul, and I think Del Borello might go into the book here. He does. Certainly was after the play. And it was a teasing ball in. I thought the referee perhaps could have seen where that ball landed before blowing his whistle, but at the end, from an Armadale perspective, they didn't win the first header, so they will get a chance to take a set piece here.
Yeah, I certainly think you're right, Louis. Could have waited to see if any advantage developed, but it didn't look like it would have anyway, and it's been a well-refereed game so far. Been a feisty one from both benches, and he's controlled it well.
Well, you say that, but there was just a bit of a handbags before over a few undershirts, so, I mean, other than that blemish, I think they've had a good game. And Azari, I think, getting some treatment on the right-hand side, so he'll have to come on to the pitch. And they're going to play with 10, as he has received treatment, and other refs being very liberal and letting him back on the pitch. There we go. That's more like it. Lawson here with a chance to swing it in. Driven ball. Teasing the palms of the keeper. Here's Garces. He doesn't really have any options, and he's pushed away. And again, Garces just making sure not to swear at the referee. Book for dissent earlier in the first half.
Yeah, very interesting set piece there. It fizzed hard and low at the near post, and again dealt with well by the keeper.
Tell you what, it looks like a hand in the back from Armadale, but they've managed to escape with the ball. It's going to be Kusa to go forward, and Del Borello intercepts that well for Balcatta. And Del Borello is out, so there was room on that right-hand side for the wingers to go into, but they failed to do so. Cortez tries to bring that one down. He's got a few players with him. Here's Adams with the ball inside to Macias. He's all over him, and that will be a free kick. Jouffre there, just a bit too physical for the referee's liking. Once again, Lawson and Garces both over it. Lawson's taken almost all of the set pieces, and And a few interesting efforts, but he'll fancy his chances to set something on target here. It's a driven ball, deflection, what a save that is. Magnificent reactions for the keeper and his deputised well in the absence of a big name today.
Yeah, we've called his name a few times. He's been absolutely brilliant, and that one took a big deflection on the way and fingertips on it. It was headed for the corner. That's absolutely fantastic.
Magnificent save there from Keenan. It took such a diversion en route, but he was equal to it. Armadale with the corner. Oh, it's all the way through. It's a corner and it's a goal. And that's the equaliser. It's from Lawson. Armadale back in this one.
Well, again, we've sung his praises over and over, David Keenan, and Sam Hutchings had one at the other end, in the first half, where we mentioned those ones can just find their way directly into the back of the net, particularly in these conditions, and that has there, and I think Michael Lawson, the scorer, was it?
Yeah, he managed to put that one on target. Scored a free kick last weekend when they lost 3-1 to Floreat. And he scored another set piece, perhaps that one with a bit more fortune about it. And as I mentioned, he's taken so many for Armadale this afternoon. And that was one of the more unlikely goal-scoring chances. But Armadale have a route back in this one. It's 1-1. This was the score in the round 5 fixture earlier on in the season. And they'll fancy themselves as Garces looks to chase this one down.
Well, I was saying it at halftime. I couldn't see a way that Armadale get back into this, and maybe just scoring direct from a corner. Maybe that's the way to do it. Looked like a handball there for me.
Yeah, but the referee views Cortez's control as legal. And you saw that one bobble. Unlucky for Garces to get that one down. The goal scorer goes down. Adams cuts one out, but he gets nutmegged on the second. Here's McCarla. And that's taken a bobble as well towards O'Connell. O'Connell with a attempted back heel, but Kusa cuts that one out.
Yeah, a huge goal in the context of the season as well, that Lawson goal. It's with Sterling not playing until tomorrow, a chance to, extend the gap on them. And
here's Balcatta with a chance, and it's dealt with.
Work hard, next 5, work hard.
That's going to be a goal kick. But Sean, back to you, the enormity of that equaliser. Certainly it'll be bigger if they can manage to get a win here, but with Sterling playing the next day, it's a big goal.
Yeah, but especially those with these relegation battles. If you can play first and if you can even get a point, it really does put pressure on teams that have been struggling to win all year. But also, massive for Balcatta as well. If they don't pick up the 3 points here, then that grip on that top 4 becomes a little bit less solid as well.
Here's O'Connell. Back on the ball, the captain, but he can't quite get out of that congested area. And here cries there from Castiello, just looking to get some play going earlier rather than delaying on the ball. Here's Delbarello. Kinney with a long ball forward to McCarla. He's in behind that defence. Ball back, it's a cross in, low. Dealt with well by the captain. Oh, ball slipping here. Armadale escaped well, here's Garces. He's got hardly any options to deal with, but he's got to throw it. Here's Cortez. And it's 2 plays to aim at for Cortez, and that's disappointing technique once again from the winger. Such a good chance for the away side to maybe even pull ahead.
Yeah, it was a difficult one, sort of running away from the direction he wanted to play it and had to sort of try and curl it or slice across it, and he couldn't quite wrap his foot around it.
Just more excited at the fact that from an Armadale perspective, that's a tasty challenge there, tasty challenge, and that'll be a yellow for the goal scorer. No arguments from him.
No, some arguments from John O'Reilly on the sidelines, but I think quite clear he wasn't in control. That studs were raised, and yeah, lucky he didn't catch him on another day. Could have ended up seeing red, but yeah, lack of contact did win the ball, so the referee happy with the yellow.
I think perhaps Kearney's probably making that point to him. He's going to take the set piece now. He's Jouffre. Spent his youth career at Sorrento, just playing a ball forward to O'Connell. That's disappointing from the captain there. Costello assessing his options. No doubt they'll get it towards Macias. Garces is the one who slings himself at it. Good decision from the referee. We were close to that one, and I thought he was going to go the other way. Interesting throw in there, but deemed legal, and you see both players there coming in very quickly, but it's a handball. I don't see what the Balcatta players can do in that situation, Sean.
No, they were both coming in at full speed. Both brought themselves to a stop, and
McCarla there with a huge clearance, but it's up and under. Del Borello does well to deal with that one. Says urging his players to move. Interesting effort there from Macias. Would have been spectacular if it wasn't blocked, but we'll never know. Excellent play there. And O'Connell is away here on the right-hand side. Ball in. Dealt with by Armadale, and it's going to be a corner, but it's good signs from the home side. Looking to get back into the lead after that shock equaliser. A direct corner coming from the foot of Michael Lawson. And they'll need a response here and a chance to get it.
yeah, really good determined run there from Cuser to cut that one out and make sure it's only a corner. And what can they get from the corner?
Ball towards the back post. Castiello was up, but Cortez can look to counter. Nazari, ball inside, that's disappointing. He's barely had a touch of the ball, the right winger, this half, and perhaps you could tell hasn't quite found his range.
Yeah, again, as we noted earlier in the first half, Armadale leaving a couple of players very high up the pitch, really wanting to counter-attack, not content to just sit in and defend, even though the point probably suits them the better of the two teams. As Nathan Costello fires a rather aimless ball forward.
Balcatta does well here. He's beaten Cuser. The tricky winger goes one way and then the other. Just struggling with his feet there, the Balcatta midfielder, but it's bouncing around. Interesting effort. And that ball just escaped from Cortez, and he wanted some support from Garces, but a few players slipping on this greasy surface. Sam electing to go for the second ball rather than the first. Great touch there from Lawson. Macias got three to deal with. Kearney going to get his own volley down. Very interesting effort from the centre-back. Ball around the corner and Pelzari looks to go, but they can't quite get there. Dealt with once again by Armadale, particularly Blake Adams, who's looked pretty solid on the left flank. Cortez coming in very hard, and he's given a foul for Balcatta. Chance here for Tapini to perhaps find a lead for Balcatta. It's a set piece. Well, into a dangerous area. It's won first by Balcatta. Back post, O'Connell! What a volley that was. And they're back in the lead, the home side.
Yeah, important flick on there from Kearney at the front post, or the front of the pack at least. And yeah, smashed home confidently and restores the lead that they probably deserve. But again, we've already seen in these conditions how quickly that 1-goal lead can slip away. It only takes one moment. And they'll be focused now, I'm sure, and determined not to let that happen again.
Such a thumping effort, hit with real conviction at the back post on his left foot. And the captain stepping up in this vital game. As we mentioned, it's vital for both sides. Armadale looking to get away from that relegation zone. Balcatta looking to bolster their top 4 ambitions. And so Connell there, former Inglewood, Floreat and Perth player, plenty of experience. And that experience was on hand as he smashed that one into the back of the net for Balcatta's lead. And I think it's Macias who's just been caught here, as you can see him adjusting his boot. Armadale need a response. I think Cusa will fancy his chances getting ahead to this one as the fullback jogs forward. And I think that was the intended target, but he just wanted a bit more elevation, the fullback. But Lawson certainly called his name. I think there's just been a bit of a change in shape. Perhaps Cortez has come as a midfielder and Garces has pulled out to this left wing. Great win there from Costello, the captain for Armadale. But Castiello wins it back for Balcatta. Here's McCullough. Tries a long switch and he'll get to Pellizzari. Tries to bring it down. Ball across. Oh, interesting call there. Perhaps it looked a penalty from where we were sitting, but the referee waves play on.
It's a penalty for me, Louis. He's not got the ball. He's definitely taken the man, and they've got away with one for me.
I tell you what, if they can get a counter-attack here, it would be rubbing salt in the wounds, but Cortez just delaying on the ball. He's got a second chance here. And you see Garces going in full-blooded, even though he's on a yellow, no holes barred. And Armadale really getting away with one there. Adams with the ball in. Macias looking to switch play, which is something that probably should have happened a bit more in the first half, but encouraging signs for Armadale. Rickman played a ball out wide for Kusa. Is Lawson. Back in the middle, he's taken out. A good advantage. Cortez! Oh, great save from the keeper.
Well, that is the best play we've seen from Armadale today. Absolutely magnificent build-up and little 1-2s around, ending with the chance there. I think for Cortez, was it? And again, wonderful save from David Keenan. He's had the one, Rick, but he's really covered himself in glory in every other chance he's had.
Magnificent one-on-one, and you just thought Cortez would find the back of the net. But the keeper stood up firm, and Balcatta looking to make 2 changes here. I think it's McCullough who's going to come off and make way. As well as Anthony Tapini. So those 2 boys' day is done. As Balcatta make 2 changes.
Yeah, Nicholas Challet and Callum Stocks coming on.
Stock immediately throwing himself into the action. And no doubt a chance to defend the set piece. But let's see what Armadale can come up with. Oh, he's headed that away. Macias should play that out. Does. Left foot ball across. It's a teasing effort. And I think from the crowd side, it looked a bit spectacular as they were behind it, but the keeper should have that one covered all day, and he does. Another chance to go forward, but it doesn't beat the first man. Disappointing delivery. Can't be too critical, as he's obviously scored directly from a corner, but John O'Reilly will be hoping for some better set pieces as the game goes on.
And how much do you think he meant it, Louis?
Oh, so much. Just looking to use those wet conditions. It's dried off a bit here in the second half, but certainly at the time of the goal, it was into a slippery area and caught all the Balcatta players by surprise and went straight through for a goal. But Balcatta answered back with their own. O'Connell with a goal that separates the two sides, a thumping volley at the back post with his preferred left foot. And Cortez could have really thrown the cat amongst the pigeons with an equaliser, but great save from the Balcatta keeper means this one stays at 2-1. Here's O'Connell, score of the last goal. First time ball in. Excellent defending there. Sanderson, great bit of composure. But his ball lets him down. And once again, it's just an exchange of possession in the middle of the park for both sides. And Garces can go. He's going to do well to keep this one in. Gets there well. And see what he can come up with. Tries to drive past one. He's got himself a throw-in for his efforts.
Well, certainly Armadale continuing to play certainly the best football they've played all day. There's been a couple of tidy passages of play that we were just missing. When we mentioned it, getting the ball down, getting that first touch, having a bit of composure, and they seem to be doing that a little bit more now. Certainly not out of this.
Certainly not, is Garces. Ball back to Macias. Tries to throw a ball in. Cortez interested. And that's dealt with by Kearney. And another set piece, and surely Lawson beats the first man on this one. You wouldn't expect a man of his calibre to have too many dodgy set pieces in a row. When he in and out swinger here as he's left-footed.
Yeah, I'm going to guess this one's not going to go indirect.
He'll do well. It's a driven ball towards the back. Macias was up. Garces with a header, and it's in! All the way through! Sammy Garces, and it's 2-2.
Well, set pieces have been the order of the day for Armadale. The first one might have been a little bit unconventional. That one was anything but. Big header at the back post. Kearney on the post. Question having probably the shortest man in the box there on the line to defend it and couldn't do anything to keep it out. And we're back at Tousley. What a game. I told you these ones fire up eventually.
Well, they certainly are. And Balcatta have had such a good defensive record throughout the season. Hosting a 4-goal game here, and that's certainly against the run of league form. Massive goal for Armadale. Garces, he's been booked for dissent in the first half, and he's certainly put his best foot forward in the second. And there might be an immediate response here. Oh, my word. Straight away, Balcatta take the lead.
A wonderful finish from Jonathan Cornish. What do they say, Louis? You're most vulnerable when you've just scored, and they have shown it there. They all just switched off, and pretty basic run straight down the middle. The ball just bounced in between them, and great composure from Cornish though to finish it off, and they're ahead again.
Oh, well, this is just more drama here at Grindelford Reserve. The keeper out in a bit of no man's land, and not enough pressing from the Armadale perspective, and they just waltzed through the defence there. They worked so hard for that equaliser, knocked on the door for so long, and then Balcatta just answers straight back. Let's see what Armadale can come up with once again. Ball forward into Macias, and he goes down, and it's for a challenge in the back before the handball, and his jersey probably is testament to that decision. Pellizzari asked to back up as, once again, Lawson set pieces. They've got 2 goals from them so far. Lawson with the ball to the back post. Once again, it'll come back towards the home side. Cross in towards Macias. Garces, audacious effort, but can't quite find a deflection en route. Nazari trying to bring that one down, and that will be a foul. Oh, perhaps an advantage could have been on the cards. He certainly waited for it as long as he could, but then pulled back at just the time before the captain was strolling through the Balcatta midfield.
Well, I think there was a 50-50 there that didn't see the Balcatta player who it was that pulled out when he heard the whistle. So if he hadn't, I'm sure it would have been a different... I think that's probably why he didn't want a dangerous tackle.
There's a chance there for Armadale to get another goal at Grindleford, but couldn't quite measure it. Chance forward again for Balcatta. Falls to O'Connell on his left. And he elects to go in that far corner, perhaps shaped for the near. And scored the second goal here today, but couldn't quite find his second goal.
Yeah, good distribution as well from the Balcatta keeper. He's done it a few times today. Just got off quickly as Garces draws the foul.
Ref, that's the system, mate, all day. Ref.
Garces does well to draw that one. He's looking a bit more tricky out on this left-hand side. Perhaps a tactical move from John O'Reilly as Cortez has gone in the middle. Azari there, and Cortez will look to chase. And Kearney, he's been no nonsense all day. Just shells that one into touch. Interesting throw in once again from Cusa.
I think he's definitely relying on that fact. He's already been called once, so he's probably not going to get called again. But yeah, very suspect throwing action, I think, is the best way we can put it.
Del Barilla on the ball for Balcatta. Plays the ball in behind. And Charlotte there just holding the ball up. Recently subbed on. Great 1-2. And Charlotte's back on it again. Decides to hit. And that ball was travelling. Keeper did well to hold that one in.
I'll tell you what, it took a bit of a nick as well, right off the boot. And yeah, well done again from the keeper.
Ball out to Garces. Flicks it over one well. Delicious bit of play. And you see Garces cutting a frustrated figure, but I think lucky for him, he's on a yellow card.
Yeah, he needs to be very careful here. It was a wonderful flick, a good bit of skill, and they've got the ball, so can't be too upset.
And Nazari will make way here. Armadale with their first substitution. And you can hear that from the linesman there, I think. Interesting call.
Shannon Ho on for Ali Nazari, the substitution.
Well, let's see if he can have an impact on this right-hand side, the substitute. Into Macias. Great technique from Garces. Cortez! Great play again from Armadale. They're looking better in this second half.
Yeah, looking a lot better, and not just the couple of goals. Their general play has been far removed from what we were seeing in the first half. They were struggling to string 2 or 3 passes together, whereas now they're really linking up. Whatever's been said at half-time by John O'Reilly's obviously had the desired effect.
Still find themselves a goal down, though. But certainly Macias, Cortez, Garces all linking up well. Lawson winning that header. Castiello with the ball forward, and Charlotte can chase. Keeper is out once again. He doesn't need to make up that much ground, and he was punished in the third goal that Balcatta scored, so he's got to watch himself, but they're on the attack here, the home side. Ball just behind. Kind of when they can get a chance here, it's a bit difficult for Garces to deal with. And that's going to be a foul. It's the first time I think I've seen him praise the referee, but he does, and he's happy with that call.
Yeah, certainly just a little bit overly physical, I would have thought. A bit of grabbing and pushing.
Oh, great flick on. Del Barello gets there first, but Macias took a bit of a deflection. It's not that bad from Garces, does well. He'll look to press now, does well again. Macias Great press from Macias, and Balcatta under the pump at the moment. They looked so well answering back with that quick goal that took them in the lead once they conceded, but last 5-10 minutes they've struggled.
Yeah, it's another corner. First 2 goals coming from corners. And just a great bit of play there from Macias and Garces. Just really high press, just winning this corner.
Let's see if they can get something from this set piece. It's a driven ball once again. They're up! Oh, it's cleared off the line. And O'Connell leaving nothing to be desired. Shells that one nice and high. And it was Stocks there who had the tough task of dealing with that ball as it came down with a bit of snow.
Well, you see again a good header and one cleared off the line there from Armadale. That's, yeah, definitely looks like where they're going to score, but it doesn't look like their only avenue to score now either, as we've been mentioning. They're really starting to put things together.
Stocks with the ball back. Kearney with the ball into Stocks. I know it was a loss of possession there for the home side. And just a bit of head tennis for both sides to enjoy. Here's Fields. Over the head of the Balcatta forward. And Giuffre there with great defending. Just got around Macias well. O'Connell, ball through. So close for Stocks to get on the end of it, but he couldn't quite. Garces looking to get there. It'll pull up for him with a backspin. Gets ahead. Does well to get a ball in. Macias! What an effort. Very inventive from the forward.
Well, I haven't seen a goal like that in my life, Louis. If he'd managed to get that on target, we would have been seeing something special. And in the end, it was well and truly over, but acrobatic and athletic nonetheless.
Yeah, we've watched plenty of games of football between the pair of us, and that is something I've never seen before. Garces looking much better out in this left-hand side, and he's really causing the Balcatta defence some heartaches.
A really important intervention from Joel Sanderson at the other end, just quietly. It's looked like Balcatta were on for a fourth and stretched out the long leg.
Yeah, he's not had a bad game, the captain, but according to linesman, he's offside, and Stocks will look over in frustration.
Lino, next ball out, please.
Delbrello winning that header. O'Connell with the ball across. And we've got some action on the substitution bench, and it's the veteran Gavin Knight who will step onto the park. We saw his goal against Coburn last week to win the game 10 minutes from time. And Goran Starch will be hoping for a similar effort, as Cortez is asked to show a bit of patience by the referee. And it's going to be O'Connell, I think, who's going to make way.
Yeah, what a goal it was from Gavin Knight last week, the one you mentioned, Louis. We watched that together, absolutely loved it. Had a little cheeky peek around the wall and bent it in the top left corner. He'll be hoping to have the same sort of impact laid on here.
Yeah, just the look around the wall was certainly a massive highlight. And he's coming from Swan, certainly a veteran WA football, Gavin Knight. And he'll add some firepower and composure and experience up front in these last stages. As Balcatta find themselves in the lead here, it's been a good contest for the neutral. Armadale finding their 2 goals off set pieces, and Balcatta answering back when it was 2-2, a real sucker punch. Here's Garces. He's looking full of confidence right now. And Giuffre gets rid of that one. Here's Knight's first touch, second, third. Great first touch from Stocks. And the keeper, their captain, should I say, does well to intercept that one. Just a bit of a wild follow through there.
Yeah, Abdul Osman there, the sub. Really frantic pace now. There's ball changing hands, changing feet rather, quite regularly, and players, yeah, really realising that if they want to impact this game, they might have to do it pretty quick, smart, and
Gavin Knight throwing his elbow up there on Cusa, and that's not going to be a legitimate foul in anyone's book, I don't think. Maybe in his. Again, so important for both sides of this fixture. Armadale looking to stave off relegation as Macias goes up. And that's going to be a set piece again for Armadale. They've won so many in attacking areas. They've scored their goals from them as well. So, promising signs for the away side.
I think Gas is keen to take one here. He's really got the bit between the teeth this second half, and a real confidence player.
Just floats one towards a back post. Bouncing around in the area. Osman goes down, penalty! And he was going away from goals. Perhaps he didn't need to make the foul, the Balcatta midfielder.
No, it's a silly foul. It just wasn't necessary. Really hard to take when that decision up the other end didn't go their way. Huge moment now for David Keenan. What can he do? Stepping in, as we mentioned a few times, for Luis Italiano.
It's Michael Lawson who scored the first goal. Direct from a corner for Armadale. Massive goal this could be in Armadale's season. Grinderford holds its breath. It's Lawson. Goal, 3-3. We've got a classic on our hands. Armadale back in it.
Massive goal now, and John O'Reilly, you can probably hear, just calling for his players to switch on now. They can't afford to have the same laps that they had last time, and just a few chances Balcatta had to clear that free kick and the set piece and didn't deal with it, and just a bit of a lazy challenge. And yeah, great impact from Abdul Osman. He got on the ball and decided to drive, make something happen, and he has.
Balcatta can feel so aggrieved in the earlier parts of this half. They had a far more convincing penalty waved away. But it's 3-3 at Grindelford. They try that ball in behind. That got them the lead initially before the fight back, but as O'Reilly gives the young fella a bit of cheek, but we've got a classic on our hands here at Grindelford, and this could go either way. But right now for the neutral. From a throw, I don't think that's a rule, but it's going to be a ball forward, and Balcatta get the header, and you see there's just players just full-blooded going at the ball. His Stocks with the ball in, they've won a corner, and Osman not as keen to put the pressure that he received in the box that won that penalty. And he's probably a bit wise, but they're going to have to defend a set piece here. It's a header, and it was Jouffre. Just couldn't quite manage to put that one on target.
Yeah, interestingly now, Louis, the earlier corners and set pieces we noticed in the first half at Armadale still keeping players up, and I think that's what John O'Reilly's just saying now. They do want to keep players up, but players can get a little bit caught in their heads in this sort of situation. They've got a point. It's a good point at the moment, and perhaps dropping a little bit too deep with everyone inside the box and against team orders.
Here's Osman. Plays the ball back. Kusa just putting that one forward. Long ball forward, and Knight is away here. The substitute hasn't quite got the legs, the veteran, but he hasn't managed to get a chance, but Balcatta still on it. Disappointing ball there from Castiello, who's just lost control. And Macias just kicking the ball away there. He's got to be a bit careful. A chance there for Knight just to race in behind, but the veteran, as I mentioned, he's not the quickest.
10 years ago he might have got there. It's just Garces and Cusa just having a bit of a conversation there. Garces wants them to play the ball down, doesn't want them to stop doing what's worked for them in the first part of this second half as he finds himself on the ball here.
It's a ball in the middle of the park. Osman's going to go for it. Does supremely well to keep the ball there, the sub. He's had a good impact so far. And he's just put his best foot forward. Excellent work from the fullback. Goes in full-blooded. You see Lawson, you see the exhaustion on his face. Osman elects to go for the nutmeg. Can't quite find a ball through. It's Adams just taking a breath after that spectacular run, beating two.
Likes hearing about it.
Looking to take their time. And hang on, there's a conversation between linesman and referee here. But see Stocks and Osman going at it. That ball high up from captain to captain. Abdul with a flick. Castiello, ball forward. Just going back and forth, back and forth. Osman, wise to put his ball between the ball. Two players going in hard. Balcatta throw, his Fields. Flick ball forward. Oh, both defenders. And disappointing from Balcatta.
Yeah, clear handball there from John Kearney. He's claiming he slipped, but I think he did slip, but as he slipped, he thought the only way he could do it was to throw the elbow up, and yeah, the booking certainly warranted, I think. There was a good chance on for Armadale if it got through.
Well, both defenders sort of half-heartedly going at that, and as soon as Kenny went down with a slip, I think panic stations ensued, and he just had to put the hand up to stem the blood. As we tick on further and further in this half, and as we've said, it's been a bit of a mini classic already. Is there a late twist? Awesome with the ball towards the back post. Garces slinging his head at it, but can't quite get any contact. Pellizzari on defending duties, up to Knight. Knight's been dispossessed, but Garces couldn't quite get on the end of that one. The ball a bit too far forward for the winger. Adams getting stuck in, and that's a disappointing run from the Balcatta forward there. He shouldn't have been caught offside from that area of the pitch, Sean.
Well, the call was actually for Stocksy, they were saying. So I think we're looking for the right winger out here, and yeah, still should be holding your line.
Macias with a chance, goes down. Awesome with a bit of pressure over the head of Adams. Costello there, up well. He's looked decent in the air. And he wins the throw for Armadale. Here's Adams, Osman and Castiello going at it. Macias as well with Fields. He's off the back of the linesman there. Oh. Interesting call there from the linesman as he urges the Just the fullback to take the throw from where it hit the linesman, but perhaps physics would suggest otherwise. Kusa's going to get under this one. He heads that one back. And Armadale and Balcatta so delicately poised going into the final moments. And Pellizzari's going to bring this one down. Kusa with the ball inside. Excellent feet from the sub. Here's Garces. And Osman can run here. Oh, just too much on the pass. You had Osman in the middle of the park, but he elected to go wide to Ho, and perhaps the wrong option.
Yeah, Osman was the shout from everyone on the bench and from Osman himself, I'm sure. He just decided to be a little bit too cute, a little bit too clever. The obvious option was to play the substitute, play it in front of him and let him run. He's been a handful every time he's got on the ball, and that's a huge missed opportunity.
Oh, what a jump that is. Costello, he's not the tallest defender, but he leaps well. Goes in again. No desire lacking from the captain.
That's what you want from your captain there in the dying minutes, be throwing his body all over the place.
Once again, that's 3 headers in a row. Over the ball forward. Macias on his own. Does well to make a contest of it, and it'll fall to Garces. It's 3-on-3 up here. Macias. Audacious effort. And Lawson was probably offside, so that's not the worst decision from the striker.
No, great decision making. Keeper definitely off his line. If he caught it a bit better, we'd be looking at 4-3 with a dramatic late winner. As it is, Balcatta going up the other end.
Costello there with another header. Balcatta, can they look to win this one late? It's a ball across from the captain. And that's off a Balcatta head. That's a chance to calm down for both sides, but what an effort that was, and would have been a dramatic ending to an already fantastic game.
Yeah, fantastic to see. Armadale aren't taking a point here. They're certainly not happy with, well, they may be happy with it, but they really want 3 points here if they can get it, and they continue to press and push, and we'll see if they can find something special.
Well, Balcatta was so impressive in the first half, looking much more likely to make the breakthrough and take the 3 points, but it's really been a tale of two halves as Armadale have fought their way back into this one, both on the scoreboard and and in the general run of play. Ball forward to Macias. It breaks down for Balcatta. Flick forward for Knight. Perhaps he used his arm. Knight galloping away, uses his left. And a chance for the veteran to add to his free kick from last week, but just lashed at the final chance there.
Yeah, just 2 minutes left now, Louise. There, one final twist, one final turn. One last chapter to be written in this story. It's been a great game. It's had everything, certainly this second half. Can a team find a fourth?
It's the question on everyone's lips. Castello and Osman having a real battle in the middle of the park. Once again, another great header from Costello. No desire lacked. And I think Kusa has cleverly held his head there, even though it was an Armadale player going for the ball. So, great result for the team in white. And it's 4-on-4 at the back. Finds Del Borello. Disappointing ball forward. Garces will look to press. He'll be careful not to add to that booking. He's already received one in the first half, 4-10. Del Borello. Garces tries a bit of trickery, loses the ball. Osman might be interested here. He's a sub, he is fresh, as is Ho, but he loses his balance. They've got to talk it out, and they do. Adams, Osman, the ball's in front of him. Ball through for Knight. Oh, what a save. It was a chance for the veteran. He's had a couple. And Hutchings there stood up well. Balcatta still coming forward. And that's going to be a set piece. Kusa might be in trouble here.
Well, what a save. I mean, can't say Gavin Knight hasn't had an impact. He's come on and just lacking for legs on a couple of chances when he could have been through. That time he did find himself through, and Hutchings, who's looked a little suspect at times, coming out really big there when it really mattered.
I think if there was one player on the pitch for both sides who you would want in a one-on-one to score a winner, Gavin Knight would be right at the top of that list, and he had the chance.
I'll tell you what, he's not far from the top of the list of who you'd want taking a free kick either.
Yeah, he's on set-piece duties here, having a bit of a chat with Kearney, but he jogs away.
Well, he did it last week. Interesting to see if he goes direct here. Can he do it again? 2 weeks in a row, the veteran.
It's a bit further out. What a moment this would be for Balcatta. And he's been asked to take the ball a bit further back, and you can hear what the Balcatta fans think about it. And he's gonna have plenty of room to get it up and over here. What a moment this could be. Knight! Great save again! And that is all she wrote. What a classic at Grindleford Reserve.
Oh, he's done it again, Hutchings. What a save on the buzzer.
Well, it was a high-scoring game. We don't see that too often at Balcatta. They're normally so good defensively. So many 1-0 and 2-0 scorelines, and it was a late drama at the end from Knight, who had plenty of chances, but Hutchings was alert to the danger and got 2 great saves. The opening goal was scored by McCullough, and it was answered back from a set piece from Lawson, and then it was just chaos. You had goals coming in left and right, and 3-3, you'd say perhaps a fair result given the fact that Balcatta started the game well and Armadale finished it well.
And you said we weren't going to see many goals. I tell you, I mean, you've summed it up. What can I say about that one that can add anything? It was just crazy, crazy second half. A 3-3 with one of the best defensive teams in the league. And penalty shouts, penalties given. You had yellow cards here and there, feisty tackles. This just had absolutely everything, isn't it? And probably, obviously, Armadale the happier of the sides. The point's probably a lot more valuable to them than it is to Balcatta, but it was good to see a good bit of show of sportsmanship between the two coaching staff. I think everyone acknowledges it was a good, hard-fought game.
I think the microcosm of that game was that final free kick. A great free kick from Knight and a great save from Hutchings. So both sides cancelling each other out here. It was 3-3 at Grindleford Reserve, and a classic for both sides.